Hello, welcome to the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione. I'm the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom Zip Gun. We're up here in the Turret of Pleasure. We're going to do a very quick little video of what we've accomplished in the thrift stores in recent weeks, because as we speak, the Empress is coming home with all kinds of goodies she found that apparently are pretty weird. Lots of stuff that had Japanese printing on it. And over the phone, it sounded interesting. So I said, sure, buy it for me, would you, sweetheart? But that means I better take care of some unfinished business, which is all this weird stuff I bought recently. Now, I bought a whole bunch of classical. I'm not going to review it, but I will say that it's all super weird in that each CD seems to specify, it seems to be country specific, either from composer. I've got some national Slovenian composer, or it's just like there's a Messiah, but it's not Handel's Messiah. It's a contemporary guy's Messiah from Germany. Like lots of weird stuff, and I'll buy this stuff a million times out of all the time because it pretty much is unique, a lot of it. But most of you don't really care about that stuff. I did buy two. I'm going to mention two classical things that I found just because. The first is I found another, what's the name of the label? Alia Vox. Now, Alia Vox is the domain of one Jordi Savall, a Spanish gambist. And, ooh, look at that. Oh, it's bad. Oh, bad production. How can I do this? This guy, I love this guy. He did a million records for Reflex in the, 70s, 80s? Which Warner, the evil Warners, have put it all out in a box set for $30. I must have spent $250 on all the LPs of this stuff. He's an early music specialist. He has a band called Hesperon 21, and this is Invocation à la Nuit. Music of the night. One CD is vocal, one CD is instrumental, and it's basically music that evokes the nighttime hours. So it's a various, it's enchanting. It was $2. I was buying these, well, I didn't buy many of them because they're about $30 each new. I have now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this will be 8. And it's a double. And I think 6 of them I found in the thrift stores. How they got there, I don't know. I'm out of my mind with delight whenever I find one. And I haven't listened to much of that, but it's going to be great. The Empress found me that. Now, this is a weird one. This is Harmonia Mundi US decided to kill multiple birds with one stone. So they've given you a CD of, and rather sensibly, they've made it a CD of a particular piece. So this is Rachmaninoff's Vespers, Le Chant du Monde. So this is, I don't know exactly what's going on here because it's Le Chant du Monde. It's distributed by Harmonia Mundi. This is indeed French. Okay. And it's got the catalog Saison Russe 1994, which I do believe is all their Russian stuff that they put out. Stuff that I have some of it, but it's great because it is going to be a pain in the ass to file, but they've made it so you can, it's decent sized type. It's like a little booklet. And then you get your catalog. And I love these things. There's a record, everybody will see it in the thrift stores, all the thrift store junkies, they'll know what I'm talking about. There's a record called A Joy Forever. And it's an LP that was a Deutsche Grammophon catalog masquerading as a Tchaikovsky record. They sold it for 99 cents, sometimes 49 cents in Canada, for donkey's years. It's a great record because it's a great performance of I forget what it is now, Tchaikovsky, I think. But it's got this great, beautiful catalog in it. Not unlike this, except LP size. These are great. I think these are a really good idea for record labels. For example, if I'm into this, if I really get into this series, I want to know what else is out there because it's kind of hard to find out sometimes. So those are the two classicals that I figured were worthy of mention. The rest of them, I'm happy. But they're kind of hard to describe, and nobody else, I don't think, cares. So I'm going to go to the pop stuff I found. Now, this has been from all over the place. John Hyatt Live. Now, I'm not so sure about this one. The marketing. Hyatt comes alive at Budokan. John Hyatt and the Guilty Boys. Now, needless to say, this is not recorded at Budokan. It's recorded at clubs all over America. Hyatt is good. He's a damn good singer-songwriter. In fact, probably better than damn good. Produced by Matt Wallace. So it's going to sound good. And it is basically, yeah, perfectly good guitars on this. It's a solid, I mean, if you want one John Hyatt record from the A&M period, this will suffice. And his A&M period was good. It was all right. 1994, Portland, Maine, San Luis Obispo, California, Lexington, Kentucky. Dude gets around. The Guilty Dogs was his band at the time. They're totally in the groove. They totally are in tune with what he's doing. He continues to this day. He's been on a million labels. If you like singer-songwriter kind of music, he's a good... I mean, I think I paid $0.25 for that. I also paid $0.25 for this. Now, I only bought this for one reason. Sammy Davis Jr., The Decca Years. I've been rereading Dave Dexter's book, Playback, which you must read if you're a Beatles fan, certainly. One of the most amazing, jaw-dropping books ever written about one man and his inability to do the right thing in the record business. One of the things he did when he worked for Capitol, Mr. Dexter, was he signed Sammy Davis Jr., and he couldn't give his records away. Sammy and him, it was, sorry, Sammy, can't do nothing with you. Sammy then went to Decca, where, of course, he immediately had hits. And this was $0.25. I thought, I'm going to buy this for $0.25 and listen to it, because I'll bet you there's the Birth of the Blues is on this. This was when Sammy was really making his name. And it's worth listening to just for educational purposes, for me anyway. Then now we're getting into some weird shit. So this, I really don't know what this is. I suspect this is from Asia. Story of Blues Guitar, it says here. Now, not the story of blues guitar, just Story of Blues Guitar. And it's kind of fuzzy printing, and there's what looks to be Japanese writing on the spine. I don't know, you tell me. It says Story of Blues Guitar, and then it says J.L. Hooker, T-Bone Walker, B.B. King, etc. And those people are on here, but there are also people like Artie White, Little Johnny Taylor, Little Joe Blue, Cash McCall, T-Bone Walker, Elmore James, Memphis Slim. And it's a double CD, Get Right Church by Mississippi Fred McDowell, Levy Camp Blue, there's 3 McDowell songs here, Sonny and Terry, Lead Belly, Sippy Wallace, John Lee Hooker. Now, I really tried, I did, to figure out just where the hell this came from. Nobody knows. Does it have information? Of course it doesn't. I think this might well be, and this is just a guess, some kind of pirate thing from, and of course it falls apart, somewhere in Asia. Like, it's all really, it's not very well printed. GR 2222, Story of Blues Guitar. The language is very kind of English as a second language kind of feel to it. Needless to say, it's got tons of great blues guitar on it. Great car CD. This was a chord. Dimples by John Lee Hooker's on this. Lovin' Sam by Sippy Wallace. God. Anyway, 25 cents. Again for 25 cents, and I've heard this name. And the name bothered me. I don't know why this name bothered me. But I just knew they had the name, and they're a band from Edmonton called Shout Out Out Out. And I don't know, and again, for $0.25, sure, I'll try this. You know what? It's really good. It's kind of hypnotic dance rock, maybe is the best. I don't know. It's definitely worth a listen. I got 3/4 of the way through it before I had to go and do something else. But I put it on and I had trouble taking it off. So there you go. I think they've broken up now. They had a bit of a run, maybe in the aughts, was it? Or maybe 2010s? Here we are in 2025. This is 2012, and I think they're already done. 2012 seems like yesterday, but it's actually 13 years ago. So there you go. That's the thing about the thrift stores. You get to catch up with stuff a decade later for peanuts. I can't wait to find Lulu in the thrift store. I'm still waiting. Now, the Empress found this. Now, this, at first, I kind of, and then I thought, wait a minute. Now, these are, Universal is infuriating. Cat Stevens Gold, 2 CDs. Now, Universal basically owns the entire universe, which is kind of depressing when you think about it, but sometimes it comes in handy, and it did in this case, because Cat Stevens recorded for really 2 record labels in his career. One was Deram, also known as Decca's hip label, and then he signed with Island in England, who licensed everything to A&M. Well, you're not going to believe this, but Universal owns Deram, Decca, Island, and A&M. So this is being marketed as an A&M Chronicles, 2005 A&M Records. Now, of course, A&M basically does not exist anymore. It's just, they basically just, Universal has the catalog. But this has Matthew and Son, First Cut is the Deepest. It's got all this early stuff on it, which is kind of okay, in a kind of 60s hippie kind of way. And of course, it's got all his big stuff, like, you know, Where Do the Children Play, and Morning is Broken, and all of that. It's got all the hits. It has, disc 2 is less good. It does have Angel C, which is a cut I liked from Catch Bullet 4 because he plays the synthesizer on it. Very dweepy synthesizer. There's also at the end, just because and whoever put this together, I gotta give them credit. They did a good job. This is not high on my list of acquisitions, I will say, but for $25, I will buy it. Back to Earth. No. Yeah, Yusuf Islam. He changed his name too, after becoming a much more of an Islamic fellow. And he put out a record 2005, and there's 3 songs, I think, from this, Indian Ocean. Anyways, and there's a live track as well, so it's really comprehensive. If you like Cat Stevens, live in Japan, I didn't even know. This is all you need, and it's single CD shelf space, so I'll keep it because I have some nostalgic memories of Cat Stevens when I was younger. Another one we found for $25, and I was quite happy to find this because I don't want to spend more than $25, really, is this. Now, this was kind of a hip record in the 70s, Hubert Law's Jazz Flute. Now, the Empress does not like jazz flute, so I don't think she knew that Hubert Laws was a flutist. Just guessing at that. At any rate, this was a pretty important CTI record in that it was one of those records where it was kind of genteel jazz rock. He does the Gymnopédie by Satie, and it's all very urbane, but it's still pretty good. And it's mood music, kind of, I guess you might say. He does Arrogant by Sterling Rollins. He does Moment's Notice by John Coltrane. But the Gymnopédie is the thing that really kind of made this record tick. It's a CTI Masters series. CTI are now basically controlled by Sony. Interestingly, this appears to be made in Austria. There you go. It has a Sachem box on it. So for $25, I was happy to get this. It's good. I'm not going to play it a lot. And now these other 2 were $2. And okay, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. I got to go back to my bird thing. I was really happy to find this. I thought I already had it, but I don't. I am a big fan of John Martin, rapscallion of the First Water. I've been talking a bit about John Martin because, of course, Danny Thompson just died. And Danny Thompson played with John Martin for a good long time. Somebody should write a book about the time they spent together He's not on this record, sadly. This was after John. John was a bit of a wild child. And he drank too much, and he did too much drugs, I think. Lived a little too hard, and it resulted in him getting diabetes. And it really fucked him up bad. He lost a foot. He wouldn't stop drinking. Kind of ruined his life, broke up his marriage with his wife, Beverly, which was too bad. And, but he kind of kept on moving on. He went through a phase where he did records with Phil Collins, and we tried to make him into a star. I saw him live during that era, and it was okay. His voice, his mannerisms of his vocals, you sometimes think he's full of shit, and then you sometimes don't care. Very hard to describe. He kind of slurs his words too much, and it's kind of like when he's good, he's John Martin. When he's not good, he reminds me of Robert Christgau describing Mick Jagger on the Love You Live stuff, where Jagger's too lazy to lift his tongue to the roof of his mouth, as Christgau says, and he kind of goes into that territory every so often. But this record, he became a darling of the sort of, what do you want to call it, Ibiza crowd. Like, his records are very ambient and whatnot. Glasgow Walker, done in his home, I do believe. And there's a great song called The Cat Won't Work Tonight, which is a total throwaway, but it's great John Martin throwaway. He does You Don't Know What Love Is, which is with a quartet, sort of not part of the album sessions, done somewhere else. But it's one of these records where the artist is in the twilight of his career. He's kind of putting it in, but it's still really good. And there's a lot of artists I like this, like the Meat Puppets or another band. They still put out good records. They're not really that much different than their other good records, but they keep doing it. John Martin did it right up till the end, pretty much. And I was delighted to pay $2 for that. However, I also paid $2 for this. Now, this, my bullshit detector was going mental. Okay, now, you're going to go, what the hell are you thinking here? Look at this, working a tribute to John Lennon. Now, where do I start with this? I looked at this with, let's just call it a very jaundiced eye. First reason, it's on Hollywood Records. Now, Hollywood was a label. It was this corporate entity. I think their claim to fame was that they carried the Queen catalog for a while. But this was an L.A. A&R man's, fucking fiefdom of the first water. And I looked at this. Now, this is, you look at the thing and you go, okay, tribute to John Lennon, great. Hollywood Records. They show you the list of people on the front. Well, so who is on this? What's on this? 50% of artist royalties, producer royalties, and of Hollywood Records net profits from this album, which are probably zero, will be contributed to a dedicated fund administered by the Humane Society of the United States of America and will be used for, wait for it, spaying and neutering cats and dogs. A cause that I'm sure was very close to John's heart, or maybe not, I don't know. But hey, so it's apparently executive producer Lindy Goetz. Now, Lindy Goetz, who is Lindy Goetz, you might ask? Well, I don't know. No idea. This album is dedicated with love and gratitude in memory of Dr. Stephen Quaddy, DVM, which is a veterinarian thing. Not really sure what that has to do with much of anything. If you go into the booklet, you go, oh, okay. So what we have here is a big corporate label. The John Lennon tribute album is about an incredible songwriter and human being. But, for more than 8 million animals destroyed each year due to overpopulation and for humane organizations who valiantly try to change this, the album is also about hope. So that's how she puts John and her cause together. Now, this Lindy Goetz is the executive producer. The woman that put this together, Kristen Allen Goetz, husband, Lindy Goetz. Lindy Goetz is he's the executive producer, and I can't imagine he doesn't have something to do with Hollywood Records. Now, Lindy Goetz also, if I remember correctly, is a rock and roll manager. Well, who does he manage? Well, you won't believe this, but he manages, or did manage, probably half the bands on this compilation, which is, again, I'm catching a whiff of corporate back scratching here. So who plays on it, you ask? Why would you even look at this stupid thing? Well, okay, Red Hot Chili Peppers doing I Found Out. Now, if you're going to do a John Lennon song, and you're a badass band, that's a good song to do. Mad Season doing I Don't Want to Be a Soldier. Who are Mad Season? Candlebox, Steel and Glass. I've heard of them. Blues Traveler, Imagine. Screaming Trees, Working Class Hero. Okay. The -5. Never heard of them. The Magnificent Bastards. How Do You Sleep? The Flaming Lips. Nobody told me. Yep, heard of them. Super 8 doing Well, Well, Well. Ooh. Cheap Trick doing Cold Turkey. Okay. Collective Soul doing Jealous Guy. Sponge doing Isolation. Toad the Wet Sprocket doing Instant Karma. Where did they come up with that name? They're not a bad band. And then the total curveballs on this. Mary Chapin Carpenter doing Grow Old With Me. So she does a song from the late record. And then you have, and this is why I bought it, I wasted $2 on it, George Clinton doing Mind Games. Now, George Clinton doing Mind Games from the period when he was signed to Epic 505, which is a good era for George. And I said, this I gotta hear. I'll pay $2 for this. Okay, so what exactly is going on here? Well, what's his name? I think it's Lindy Goetz. I could be wrong, but one of the guys involved with this managed the Peppers. Also, a lot of these other bands that I've never heard of were really flash in the pan kind of grunge bands. I think a couple of them were on Hollywood Records. Others were on other major labels. Most of them flamed out very quickly. A couple of these are kind of side project bands that never really did much of anything else. And it's all mostly fucking, like, the Chili Peppers, it's like they all did a whole bunch of heroin before they recorded it because it's completely lifeless and completely fucking dead on its feet. Now, if I were to ask you to decide who the funkiest bass player of the two was, but only were allowing you to use the reference of their version of I Found Out, who would you say is funkier, Flea or Klaus Voormann? You'd probably be wrong because you'd pick Flea. This is terrible. It's how you ruin that song. And I don't hate the Chili Peppers, but this is fucking awful. Don't Want to Be a Soldier is just pro forma. Steel and Glass is terrible. Imagine is just Working Class Hero is not very good. Power to the People is not very good. How Do You Sleep is fucking terrible. The Flaming Lips song isn't bad, but it's kind of, nobody told me, it's not really a classic. Like the classics, a Well, Well, Well by Super 8 is just, it's not good at all. Now, then you get Collective Soul, Jealous Guy, Sponge. I listen to some Sponge. They're just, doing Isolation. Toad the Wet Sprocket, Instant Karma's okay. It's pretty straight. Mary Chapin Carpenter's a nice change of pace. I figures they put it second to last on the record. Now, the two that stick out, the two that make it worth buying for me, were Cheap Trick doing Cold Turkey, which I think is about 7 minutes long, and they fucking kill it. They do a great version of it. Cheap Trick can rarely do wrong in my book, but as time has passed, they've kind of become less and less relevant, and Rick Nielsen writes less and less of the material. Can't really complain. He's written so many good songs. But this is great. A fine moment for them from recent years. And the George Clinton Mind Games, he manages to somehow get the Detroit Symphony Orchestra involved. And they basically do it kind of straight. But it's, the typical Clinton forest of voices with the symphony groaning along in the background. It's both horrible and fascinating at the same time. This is one of these records, its reason for being seems to be a rich record executive decided to do a favor for his girlfriend's pet project, and John Lennon's music gets um, pummeled in the process. Cold turkey's pretty great. The peppers is embarrassing. I can't believe it's as bad as it is. So there you have it. Feedback is welcome on these, because I love investigating these compilation records, because they're never about the artist being compiled. It's always about promo and favors and managers doing things for their clients and so on and so forth. So it's all kind of, and this one is completely there. God knows, I would have loved to have heard the phone call between Lindsay Gotts and George Clinton. Anyway, there you have it. We're gonna have to wait and see the Empress. I'm surprised she didn't barge in on us now, but we'll wait and see what we get. We're getting some stuff from Japan, apparently. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk at you soon, and hit like and subscribe if you like this stuff. I'm always open to suggestions, as always, because a lot of the time I'll sit here and go, I should make a video, and I go, I don't have nothing to talk about, really. Nothing is moving me to rouse the effort to do it. So anything that's interesting, I'll do a video on. There you go. If it's music. Thanks for watching. Take care of each other, and we'll talk at you later.